Hey folks, welcome to my battle vlog. Haven't done an update on this for a while. Haven't really been playing board games, or any games really, except for my role-playing game, Pathfinder. Try to play that at least once, maybe twice a month, which I'm due for another session shortly. So stay tuned for that stuff, but that's a whole different topic. Board gaming, battle vlog, all that goodness. I finally dug into Lock and Load Tactical Heroes of the Motherland. That's the box I got. And I'm playing the first scenario suggested for new players, which is Rattenkrieg. Stalingrad, 1942. And I'm having a great time. So far, I've only played one game prior to this, a couple days ago. It was just I threw down some units, no support weapons or anything, no heroes. Just some leaders, some infantry squads going against each other. And I liked it. Different, that's for sure. Certainly, this isn't a traditional World War II tactical board game in the sense that it doesn't use CRTs. There isn't a combat results table where you roll a dice, add modifiers, and cross-reference, whatever. This system is quite unique, and it reminds me of more of a miniatures game because of this, but it's a competitive die rolling. Basically, when you shoot, you roll d6, and you're going to add modifiers, and your target is also going to roll d6 and add some modifiers. And they're compared. And if the shooter exceeds the target's total, he hits, basically. And every unit in that target hex next makes a damage roll, which is a d6 plus the difference between the previous two die rolls. And it could result in a unit becoming shaken, eliminated, all kinds of things. Leaders getting wounded, all kinds of things. So that's different, but it is fun. I like it. And had it happen quite a bit. And so far in this, I've played one turn, and I'm on the top of turn 2. And I believe the Germans have that. You can see it up there in the corner, the little German cross. That's to remind me at turn 2 who's got initiative. Another thing unique about this scenario, if you're familiar with the system, is that normally you roll initiative at the top of each turn, and then the players alternate activating stacks or units. Well, in this one, this has a special scenario rule called Chaos. It's very chaotic. There's a lot going on, a lot of confusion. There's a counterattack by the Russians against the defending German positions, and there's a lot of chaos in the air. And the way it simulates that is that after each impulse, which is an activation for a stack or a unit, instead of alternating to the opponent to do that, the initiative is rolled at that time. So at the end of each impulse, roll initiative again. So you could have one side going one boom, boom, boom right after the other. And yeah, so that's different. So far, turn 1, was mostly dominated by the Russians going first. I mean, they were winning the ties, which goes to whoever won the previous initiative. And they had a lot of that going on. And they had the jump on the Germans. The Russians also have some off-board artillery they can call in. I probably should have called it in, but again, I'm just learning. I didn't dig into that rule yet, so I'm going to do that probably in turn 2. They also have a sniper they can place on the map who gets to shoot like immediately or something, and quite devastating he could be. Russians also have a commissar up here with the regular units. These red units are guard units. These regulars. And the Germans have a hero, the only hero in this battle, which is this guy here. No skills associated with him, but he counts as a hero and can do some cool things that all heroes can do. They do have a leader who has a skill, which is a unique thing with this game. It uses skills. You can have heroes and leaders that have special abilities called skills. And in this case, this guy starts with decisive. He basically can stack or a unit that's already been activated, say it fired in a previous impulse, can be activated again this turn. So you just remove the fire marker, and you can suddenly fire again, in the same turn. So that's pretty cool. You can only do that once in this battle, I believe. And we've got some things on fire. The fire can spread. I believe this building was on fire as well. It went out. This one spread to this light woods. So that was interesting. I got some informational counters here, which are cool. You lay them on hexes to change the terrain that's in the hex. So this went from low crops to a wooden building. This says foxholes, but it's actually just a proxy for, I don't remember, it's either a woods or a building. Because I didn't have enough trenches for some reason. One was missing. I don't know if, I would think they would give you enough to play all the scenarios in here. Maybe they did, I can't find it. But on the reverse side of these trenches, trench counters, is a terrain counter. So in order, the Germans have 5 trenches, and I didn't have any more counters to represent whatever was supposed to be up here. So I had to take a bunker here with foxholes on the other side, a totally different counter, put it on there just as a little reminder that it's a proxy. So there is that. I'll have to look around in my baggies. But basically, it's a fun little scenario called the Rattenkrieg and Ratswar. And basically, the Germans have advanced so far and decided to halt their push forward and set up a defensive perimeter here around this building, which is an objective. I'll go into that. They've got a nice line of trenches going on here. They got some rubble in some of these buildings that they placed as well to kind of give them an advantage, rough it up for the Russians if they advance through here. Actually, I haven't read the rules for rubble yet. I did place them. I'm using my common sense of what rubble can and cannot do, and then I'll look it up. So again, I'm just learning the game. Forgive me. So yeah, that's the situation. However, Germans, waiting for the reinforcements, halting their push forward, are surprised and thrown into chaos, as both sides are, as I mentioned, the chaos special rule, as the Russians are counterattacking against the Germans, unsuspecting that. So we've got the Russians here with a commissar, some regular units here, and some guard units up here. They don't have any heroes, anything like that. They got a Molotov cocktail in here. They do have a sniper they can bring on the board, and they also have off-board artillery they can call in, which I probably should have done in the first turn. But again, I'm just learning the game. I'll probably do it this turn. We'll see. But so far, it's pretty good fun. I'm enjoying it. Very tactical game. If you like World War II tactical games, this is good fun, folks. If you like ASL starter kits or full ASL, or if you like Conflict of Heroes or Combat Commander, it's a nice game. I'm having a good time. It's my first real scenario with it. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of ASL, the starter kits, Conflict of Heroes as well. So this fits in perfectly. Depending on how my mood and how deep I want to get into something, I've got some choices here. I got Conflict of Heroes, which is fun and unique and, cards. And I got this, which, again, just learning it, but I am liking it. This system here, which is very fluid playing, competitive die rolling, not a traditional tactical board game. It's got unique things with competitive die rolls, like I said, as well as things like skills, which is pretty cool. And a very narrative-focused type of game, I think this is, which is great because I love that. And then, of course, they got ASL, which is, in-depth detail as much as you want it anyway. Sometimes I get a craving for that. But most of all, with ASL, the thing with that is I just love to reminisce about the old days. I used to play Squad Leader back in the day in the 80s and had a lot of good memories. So it's fun to break out those maps or replay some of those old scenarios from Squad Leader with the ASL rules as they currently are, especially with the starter kits. It's all good fun. So this is what I'm up to, folks. Having a good time. Taking advantage of my self-quarantine, 2 weeks plus now. And I hope to get up more vlog entries soon, I imagine, because I'd like to do another one and show you my progress with this battle as it's set up currently. In fact, let's take a little zoom on the map here. Just a little zoom. Kind of give you an idea. This guy's got the counter showing he has that skill. And this is the objective, by the way. That building with the white perimeter on it. Russians have to capture both hexes, I believe, to get a victory. Otherwise, Germans win. It's the only way the Russians can win. So they're going to try and push down here. my tactics are basically, you got the regulars over here. They've got they got a 12.7 millimeter machine gun set up here, and they have a DP-28 attached to that squad. Nothing special over here, but it's a lot of men. Their whole goal is basically to put down as much firepower as they can. They deployed second, so they knew there was an MG42 down here set up covering this whole approach. And also up here, where is it? There's another, it's over here. And that stack is another mounted MG42. They knew that, but their whole purpose right now is just to put down suppression fire. Fire on these guys, hit those heavy machine guns, reduce the ability of the Germans to respond with some devastating fire. So I don't intend to push with these guys initially. I would like to get that bombardment in before I make my big assault, which is going to come from the guards right here. Lieutenant Petrov. He's going to be leading the guards units. I guess he can only command guard units. I think that's how this game works. Can't command the regulars. But he's going to be leading the assault here. He's got a bunch of squads with him. This one as well. Typical guards, submachine gun type units. They have a range of 2 hexes, that kind of thing. But they're going to be pushing across the streets there. I'm going to look into laying smoke if I can do that. I'll have to read the nationality rules for that. But that would be preferable. If I can do that, I will do that. Otherwise, we're crossing the street in the open. It could be devastating, especially with an MG42 here. And their leader here, who's a 716. Their morale is 7. Morale modifier is 1. And the 6 in the bottom there is their movement factor. That modifier of 1 is important because it modifies this stack's shooting and helps them to rally and some other things. So he's dangerous. Russians also have similar 716 statted Lieutenant Petrov. But anyway, they're going to be leading the assault, probably after a bombardment, which I can call in 1 per game. So I'm going to call that in if I can. I don't blow myself up. It is pretty close range. And do have some more guard units over here. They're kind of just being a distraction, trying to draw the Germans to fire on that position with these units to kind of help these guys so they don't take a lot of fire and be able to cross at the first opportunity when it happens. So I'm trying to threaten this, you know. And I don't think the Germans want to lose this. Otherwise, the Germans are going to be vulnerable on this flank. These 2 units of Germans are a reserve. Basically, they got who is this? Lieutenant Kasch and a squad, 164 back here. One of the better morale units on the German side, along with this hero, who's a 6 morale. But it's really fun. I'm having a good time. So that's kind of the gist of what I'm trying to do here. I'll update you guys what happens with the next vlog update. And maybe these fires will go out. I don't know if I mentioned that, but there was this building up here was on fire and it went out. Starting on turn 2, you check it. And this one stayed. And if it stays, it spreads to an adjacent hex, which is randomly determined, unless it's all open in this case. It has to go to a wooded area or building or something. This was the only one. So it spread into this hex, which will drive troops out of. They can't remain there, that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, the thing I'm really enjoying about this, Lock and Load Tactical, is it's got a lot of narrative potential for your games, and it's not a burdensome game in terms of mechanics where your mind is just on how to do this, how to do that, how far is this supposed to represent. You know, you're not burdened with all that. There's a lot of room there to let your imagination go wild and explore the story that's unfolding on your tabletop. And that's what I'm liking about this. Anybody that knows me knows I love narrative in my games. And so this is a strong point for this system, Lock and Load Tactical. And I'm going to update you guys on how it turns out. And yeah, so far so good. Good fun. A little look at some of the things you can do. Starts off with the rally phase, goes into an operations phase, and then finally the administration phase concludes a turn. So there's only 3 phases in a turn. Interesting. Useful chart. It shows you how you spot and how you use direct fire, ordnance fire, close assaulting vehicles, melee, step reduction charts. So if a unit's reduced, it shows you what that reduced counter looks like, so on and so forth. Overruns, very useful charts, and there's a lot of them. Small arms versus infantry. Basically, the attacker rolls d6 plus firepower on his counter, plus the DFT table modifiers, which is a separate table, like, add your leadership modifier if there's a leader in the shooter's hex as well, and he has a modifier of, say, 1. You'd be able to add that, +1. Again, you want to exceed the defender's roll, which is basically a d6 plus his terrain modifier, so on and so forth. Here it mentions snipers. Their terrain modifier is doubled except from artilleries and sniper. Yeah, very useful charts. And some duplicate stats for the vehicle counters. The reverse side is like a table here, which I haven't read anything about, so I have no clue how that works. Ooh, King Tiger. Nice. I don't know what the numbers mean, though, so I don't know how nice that really is in this game. But I know the King Tiger, so I can only imagine. So yeah, folks, having a good time here, and I'll make another update for you guys. Hope you guys are hanging in there. Hope you guys are getting some games in. Leave me a comment section. Tell me if you're playing a board game or a miniatures game or role playing. What are you doing during this quarantine time? And I hope you're enjoying the hobby as much as I am. Now's the time to do it. So I guess that's it. All right, folks, I will make another update soon. Like, share, subscribe. Leave me some feedback, comments, and all that good stuff. And remember, hang in there. It's only going to get better, folks. And that's the truth. Take care.